Good morning, friends. I'll be preparing today what I have called a Stars and Garlands purse. Um, it is a little under 10,000 stitches and it fits in the 6x10 hoop, which is finally what I have been able to acquire from Brother. I have a real 6x10 hoop. And so I have already run the placement in black just to make it nice and dark so you can see. And the first thing I'll be doing is putting on a zipper. So let me grab one and I'll be right back. Okay, I have located me a very dark navy blue zipper, and I'm going to tape it down right here, a little piece right here, and down here also. So let me do that and I'll show you how that looks afterwards. And let me just say you should center the zipper here in between these two dark lines, and the center of the plastic part should be right in the middle here. And it takes a little bit of practice and a little bit of time, a few seconds, maybe a minute, but it's worth it to try to get this as straight as possible. Although usually, no matter how much time I take, I don't do such a hot job, but let me give it a try. I'll be right back. Okay, I have taped it down here at the bottom and a little piece right here just touching the edge, and then up here again at the top, making sure everything is out the stitching path and nothing will be run over by the needle going through. So let me take this to the embroidery machine and do the tack down of the zipper. Be right back. All right, I have finished having this tacked down, and I'm using in this project white thread, so it makes it nice and easy to see. So the next thing I'm going to do is turn my hoop over, grab my first piece of lining fabric, and place it face down, and I'm going to place the edge of the fabric about right where my finger is, about 1/4 of an inch past this last line here. So let me do that, making sure that it's covering over on this side and also on this side too. Here's the stitch line right here and right here. And let me see how far okay, I'm okay. So let me tape it down on the sides and in the middle. Okay, now let me take the hoop and just grab it and let the lining fall over to the front, like so. And I have ripped off this bit of what I use is just simply paper towels as stabilizer. I know a lot of people probably don't agree with that, but to each his own. So fold the lining over once and then fold it and use a piece of tape and tape it down, because it needs to stay out of the way for probably 5 or 6 different color changers, or actually color stops. We're not going to be changing thread color, but so hopefully it's going to stay there and not get caught up on the back. And let's make sure. Oh, it's fine. Okay, I'm going to take it No, I'm not going to take it and do anything right now. I'm going to grab my front piece of fabric, which is this lovely fabric here, and put it face down. That's bothering me there. That did not get... Let me tape it a little bit more because I don't want that getting in the way. So I take my front piece of fabric and I can just line it up with the edge of the zipper, or slightly over the edge of the zipper, and let me tape it also. Well, let me see. This is going to be, yes, that's going to be okay, because I see I've gotten the little end, the little edge of the fabric here, but it's going to be covered up. It's not going to show. So here I have taped it down also in 3 places, and I'm going to take this to the embroidery machine, and a row of stitches will go right along here, tacking down this top fabric and the bottom, the fabric on the other side of the hoop, the lining fabric. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and this has been tacked down. You can see here, and I have checked the back to make sure that it was caught in the stitching also, and it was, because numerous times I have not caught the entire back in the stitching and had to rip out and run that step again. So always check your back piece of fabric too. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, well, let me stop the camera for a second. I cut all of my fabric with this template here, and as you can see, it says 7 by 11. You can barely see that. I cut all of my fabric for the bags that are made in the 6 by 10 hoop. I cut them 7 by 11. However, this piece is going to go right up under here, and I cut my, this is what I'm considering batting, even though it's a piece of flannel. It'll work just fine. I'm going to cut 1 inch off of this piece and make it 6 by 11. So because it's going to go under the zipper, it doesn't need to be quite as large. So let me do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I trimmed off this piece of my quote batting unquote, and I'm going to take and pull the top piece of fabric down on it, and I'm going to smooth it as best as I can. And I'm kind of weird about this. I'm going to take this to the iron because I want there to be a nice crease along here, and this to lie down without any lumps or bumps, or it should be totally smooth. So let me go and do that. You can just walk with me. And okay, that looks good. I think a nice crease here. So I'll be taking it now to the machine, and the next step will run stitching right here at the top here of the fabric, down the side, down the bottom, and the other side. And it's kind of like a basting stitch. It's just something I have decided to do myself. I don't think I've seen any other digitizers or designers do this step, but we're about to do, at this point, satin stitching and some other stitching, and I just think it's a good idea to get it held down securely as much as possible before we start that. So hold on, I'll be right back. Alrighty, that stitching has been completed, so this is nice and secure. Shouldn't be moving around. Should not be moving around. Now I'm going to take, no, I'm getting ahead of myself again. The next thing I'm going to do is go back to the the embroidery machine, and it's going to just put a line about right through here, which is where I'm going to then be sticking the piece of, actually it's this pretty navy faux leather is going to go here at the bottom. And so let me take it to the machine and have the machine run that stitch. Hold on. All right, the machine has stitched the placement stitch, which you can see the row of stitches right underneath the red here. And I'm going to take, and I didn't need this entire sheet of vinyl, but I just find it easier to cut everything 7 by 11 with the template. And I always save these remnants. Half of this will be a remnant because I use these remnants to make my, let me see where they're at. Here they are. To make my little pieces that I put here, which will attach a crossbody strap if you'd like to do that. So now I'm going to run this next stitch, which will put another stitch directly here. And at that point, I would be taking and trimming the top part off, this part here. But I'll show you that in just a moment. So hold on. Okay, I'm back, and the glare is terrible here with the overhead light, but you can see the stitching here, and I'm going to take my sharp applique scissors and cut it right at the stitch line here, and then remove this top part here and set it aside for future use in some other project. So let me go and make this cut. Okay, I have trimmed that top portion off, and somehow I didn't plan this, but it just came out perfectly where it's right below this red stripe. So I thought that was interesting. Anyhow, I'm going to take it to the machine, and the machine is going to do a satin stitch in white just right across here, so we have no ugly raw edge. I don't do raw edges in my designs, so it looks unfinished to me. It's like wearing your pants without hemming the bottom of them. So let me go and do that. Okay, I'm back, and the machine has done a lovely satin stitch in white across here. And the very next step will be some pretty stars and garlands right down below the satin stitch. So that's going to take a few minutes, but of course it'll be instantly coming back on here. So I'll see you in a moment. All right, I'm back, and you see the pretty stitching with the garlands. I call these garlands, and the beautiful white stars has concluded. And now we're going to take, and it's finally time to use this back piece of lining. So let's remove the tape. Well, come on, you. Okay, and let the lining fall back to the back, which is where it belongs. And let's take it, and actually let's get rid of this tape here on the sides. It's no longer necessary. I won't bother with that one in the center there, but those two are now gone. And pull it. Pull your piece of lining down, smooth it well, and tape it on the sides. Boy, I sure cut that crooked, didn't I? But it has covered all the side stitching lines, and under here somewhere it has covered that, I know. So it's, let me put another piece right here. Okay, so I'm going to take this to the machine, and it's going to repeat the step. I think it was step 4, where it will stitch under the zipper here and all around the sides like this, and therefore tacking down the back piece, or the first piece of the lining. So let me do that, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, that stitching has been completed, as you can see, on the sides and along the top, which you really can't see, but it is there. So the next step is to take and remove this piece of tape up here. Okay, and take and open your zipper. Oh, okay, I can actually get that open. Okay, and take your little, now I've used pieces of this blue faux leather. I cut them 3/4 inch wide and 3 inches long, and I simply staple them at the top so they're held together, and I place them, eyeball it, roughly an inch inside on each side, and I'll find some place of this line of stitching here. I'm going to use that as the place where I'm going to put it right there, and right where the top of the metal ring was, approximately along that line of stitching. So as you can see, my staple is way above where there's going to be stitching, so you don't have to worry about that. So let me take and seems like I'm forgetting something. I hope not. Okay, there's that one. Let me go ahead and pull off a piece of tape and have it ready, and then that looks about right. Well, about right. This is easy, difficult with one hand. Okay, that looks about right. So, oh, I got twisted a little there. Okay, well, it'll be fine. Well, I don't. Let me turn the camera off and fix that a little bit better. Be right back. All right, I got that fixed a little bit better, and since they were both pieces were cut exactly 3 inches long and doubled over, and they come to the tip of the edge of the hoop itself, you can pretty well tell that they're the same distance, of course, since they are both there right at the edge. Anyhow, I've opened my zipper, which is very important. And the next thing after this is that we stick our, what will be our back piece on, covering the entire design, making sure you cover past the zipper, and there's plenty of room at the bottom also. And take your other piece of batting, I'll call it, and place it on top, and I'll straighten it after I turn the camera off. But then I'll be taking this to the machine, and it will sew along the exterior all the way around on 4 sides, closing up the bag. So let me go and take care of that, and I'll be back momentarily. All right, I'm back, and now you can see the stitching here on the sides and at the bottom and all around and around to the top. So it's closed the bag up. Now our final step is to turn the hoop over, and we should have one piece of fabric left. That's the other piece of lining fabric, and you need to take it face down and cover the design like this, making sure again that you are covering the zipper and a little bit past it. So I will tape this down on the four corners. Oh, come on, you. Okay, one more. Okay. And I'll take this back to the machine and it will stitch approximately from here up this way, across the top, down the side, and stopping about right here. And I see my fabric is cut a little bit. Hopefully that won't be a problem, but if it is, I'll deal with it. And that will leave me a nice area here, a nice wide area to get my big fat hand through to turn the bag. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back and the sewing is completed, and as you see, it left me a nice size area to turn the bag the first time. You turn the bag twice. The first time I'll turn it through this opening here. Well, if I could get it, okay, there we are. And then the second time you turn it through the zipper itself, which thankfully I remembered to open the zipper, which I don't always remember to do, and that creates a whole other problem. But anyhow, I'm going to take this out of the hoop, and I'm going to be trimming a 1/4 inch around the stitch line here on the exterior of the stitch line. And I'll show you what I do with the bottom when I come back, how I cut it. So be back momentarily. All right, now you can see I have trimmed all the way around except for the bottom. I haven't touched anything on the bottom, leaving it as it is because I need to tuck these two pieces of lining inside. However, everything else here, starting with my paper towel and the rest of this fabric and vinyl and such, needs to be cut off. So pull back your two pieces of lining fabric and take your scissors and cut right along here and remove all of this bulk here. It serves no purpose at this point, so just throw it away, and I'm going to do that, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, as you can see, I have left the two pieces of lining fabric, and what I'm going to do now, and of course I can't do it while I'm operating the camera, I'm going to turn the bag through this opening here, and then you will see the exterior side of the lining. That's all you'll see on both this side here and over on this side here. So let me do that and I'll be right back. Okay, I have turned the bag out for the first time, and you see the pretty side of the lining pieces. All I've got to do is, or all I'm going to do right now, is take usually my fingernail, and since it's paper towel, once you get it started, it'll just tear right off the whole way. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to take this and fold. I start with this piece here, that's this shorter one usually. Yeah, it's a little shorter. Turn it under like this and press it down, and then roll this one inside this piece, press it down, and then take it to the sewing machine, and you're going to stitch right along the edge here, from here to here. So let me do those several things I just mentioned, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I have closed the bottom here with a row of stitches, a line of stitches. I have taken the zipper and, like I say, with a paper towel, once you pull it slightly from either end, uh, it will generally just tear a whole streak from one side to the other. Uh, and I can't tell you how many times I've used a seam ripper to cut no-show mesh and ended up cutting my zipper and ruining the entire bag. So that doesn't happen with this. And so, and I did my little trimming of, we always have little threads hanging here and there. So I'm going to put the camera back down for a moment. I'm going to turn it out through here and we'll see what we have. Okay, and here we have our little bag. I think it's just as cute as can be. I'm going to take it and give it a pressing. When I have vinyl I'm dealing with, I put a couple pieces of, fold over a piece of cotton fabric and put over the vinyl and go quickly across it with the iron. I've never had it melt, but you don't linger. And I press the top, turn it over, press the back, and then I'll put on my little cute little doodad over here on the zipper, and it'll be finished, and I'll be back and show you that. Okay, I'm back, and the bag is finished. I think it's very nice. A little bit of a patriotic feel to it. I love the stars. And the vital statistics here on the machine is 11 color change, or 11 stops, color stops, because I didn't change colors. It's 9.17 by 5.87 with a total of 9,487 stitches for those who are interested in such. And it's 5:19 a.m. and I'm done. So I appreciate all of you watching me put this together, and hope if you get the design you'll make something beautiful, and if you do, please post it in the group. And I appreciate your time and your looking with me. Thank you.